On this week's show, a couple of really interesting finds, some actual retro games, a couple of instances where shop assistants aren't quite as clever as they think they are, the usual amount of fodder, and one instance where I'm not quite as clever as I think I am. Yes, this is the RetroBear, and this is this week's video game pickups. Hi everyone, welcome to this week's show. Hope you're all doing great out there and things are going swimmingly in your part of the world, wherever that may be. Welcome once again to my gaming den, I suppose, really what you can call it. It's getting bigger and bigger by the week, given the amount of games that I'm picking up. And as you can see this week, once again, we're using nostril cam. I quite like this angle, it's not too bad. It takes the glare off the old forehead. Just to look at where the light actually is shining off the old bonds as it has been in the last few weeks or so. So we're trying this angle again to see how we get on. There'll probably be a different angle again next week. We might actually do under the table one week. That's about the only place I've been so far. Yes, so once again, been out picking up various bits and pieces from the second-hand and charity shops up and down the local areas near me. And not a bad selection this week, as we said at the top. Some really interesting finds and a couple of real boo-boos as well. Boo-boos are always welcome because they add something to the story. Not always welcome, especially when you aren't quite as clever as you think you may be. Even though I do use a spreadsheet on my phone when I'm out shopping, so I actually know what I've got and actually not pick up any doubles. But we'll come to that a bit later. As we also said as well, there are some actual retro games this week. This is most unusual for my regular viewers who are quite content to see me pick up previous, sort of last generation and generation before. We're actually going back even further now. So we're going to mid-90s stuff, which very rarely I touch upon, basically because one, I can't afford stuff like that, and two, it's very, very difficult to come across those sort of things in the shops, especially where I go anyway. So let's get the ball rolling, shall we? Bit of a mixed bag of where it's come from. Apart from, I'll point out the ones where I got from charity shops. There's only a couple again this week. Pieces have really sort of dropped off since the beginning part of the year, where I had such a good couple of weeks. So most of this stuff actually comes out of cash converters this week, which is really unusual. Excuse me one moment, I'm just going to set this. I'll just keep talking for the moment. Amuse yourselves for a second. Yes, so yeah, cash converters. I don't usually get many things from there. There we go. The reason being is the fact that I don't like the stickers on the box. Yeah, I know it's a bit of a minor thing to go about, but they are incredibly difficult to get off, especially if they've been on there for some time. And you tend to spend more time peeling the stickers off than actually spending time in the shop buying the stuff. So mostly cash converters, a couple of charity shops, and the odd bit of stuff from CEX. There's always going to be a bit of stuff from CEX because they are the only place really at the moment you can get stuff that I'm collecting. So we'll start off with probably a couple of real finds, and the oldest thing I managed to, well, not say the oldest thing, sort of nearest oldest thing I picked up this week was an N64 game. That's the second one this year. That's the first time in ages I've added 2 games to my collection, which is now close to nearly 40. Yeah, as many as that. I have got an N64 collection video on the channel, which when I go back and have a look through there, I'll show off all my games and give you a bit of insight into some of them. So I picked up a game which I've never played before, but I've heard an awful lot about, and generally people regard it as one of the best of its genre, and this is WWF No Mercy. I picked this up for the grand sum of 99p in the cash converters. Looks in good nick, bit of a rip on the back there, which is rather unfortunate, but I did manage to get the sticker off the front. That's not too bad. Meant to be one of the very best, if not the best wrestling game. People tend to sort of hark back to it. Mainly I think it's the Create a Wrestler mode, which was, I think, pretty unique at the time. There wasn't something like that. Given the certain games that were around at the time on the other systems, say PlayStation 1, games like the WWF Attitude and Warzone games, which were okay, not great. I played both of them quite well. The SmackDown series, which started after that, was generally much, much better. A couple of WCW games are on there as well, for those of you who know your wrestling stuff. WCW versus the World, actually purchased at the time. Bit of a unique game, that one. It's not a bad game at all. It tends to get very much forgotten when you sort of compare it to WCW versus NWO, World Tour or Revenge. I've got World Tour, which isn't as good as Revenge, apparently. I've not played Revenge, I don't know. But yes, N64 game, 99p. Couldn't quite believe my luck. Next up, A couple of PlayStation 1 titles, what you can see here, I'm bringing them in, so it sort of detracts from that angle. This is a game I've never heard of before called Big Strike Bowling. It's really, really good because you can see they've hardly put any screenshots on the back. Big crack in the front, but you can't knock those sort of things. There are manuals inside. And also, I'll just show you the disc. There we go. This was £1. I've never heard it before, never seen it before, got no idea if it's any good. It's made by somebody called Gotham Games, who I've never even heard of before either. Yeah, it's £1. You've got to pick them up if you don't see them. Now, we mentioned at the top one of the really big finds this week. One of the charity shops I go into hasn't had any new stuff in for ages. And they've got a display case, sort of counter, and there's a load of 360 games in there. None of them are what I would class as particularly sort of grade A titles. But they keep them under lock and key. And they keep their other games with DVDs on the rack up there. So I'm sort of looking up there and I'm thinking, well, they were there last week and I've got all of those that they've got there, scanning through the DVDs. You get very good at this sort of thing, by the way, if you sort of scan through DVDs very, very quickly. You can spot a spine of a PS2 or an Xbox or whatever very, very easily. The more you look, the more you get tuned to it. So I'm looking down DVDs, CDs, games, CDs, any games down here, because sometimes they put like PSP games or DS games down the bottom. Neither of those systems I've got, so I wouldn't sort of take any interest. So I'm going through, oh yeah, CDs, Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1? Seriously? Yes, it was. Now, this was sellotaped up. You can't quite see at the side there. It was sellotaped up at the time, so I couldn't actually check if the disc was in there. But as you can see from this, it is a pretty bloody good box. This is absolutely immaculate. Nothing, no cracks or indents or anything like that until I drop it in a minute. I should try not to. So I got to the counter and I said, look, can I have a quick look inside this? And the lady said, yes. She said, I'll put some sellotape on the front because people come in and steal the discs, which they do. And this is absolutely immaculate. I have never seen, I mean, look at the instruction manual there. Nothing on that at all. Disc clean front and back. It's also got second disc in there as well, and you can also see there's a Silent Hill leaflet there. Also included in this is a demo of Silent Hill. That's rather exciting, isn't it? Now, this Silent Hill thing sort of expands out into a mini control guide, and then this really sort of what I would call crappy poster. I mean, look at that. I mean, you wouldn't Photoshop something like that nowadays, would you? I mean, look at that. It's awful. But it's in there as a bonus. So this is absolutely, well, would you call it mint? I would. I mean, that has hardly been used. I saw a copy of this game probably about 18 months ago in a charity shop. And when I opened it up, I'm not joking, on the disc I saw at the time was possibly some sort of like tomato-based confit substance based on there, and the disc had looked like it'd been kicked around the kitchen, so I didn't pick it up and left it where it was, and I sort of kicked myself after that. But honestly, I probably would have caught something from it had I touched it. It was horrible. This though is absolutely immaculate. The price, ladies and gentlemen, £2. Now that is an absolute bargain. This goes for, I think CX will give you between 7 and 10 for it. They sell it for 10 to 15. It's not the platinum version, which is great. It's the black label version, as you can see there. Also, as well, it's not the one with the special missions. There's a special pack about that, which is, I think, probably rare as Rocking Horse Droppings. But to get that for a couple of quid, absolute steal. Brilliant stuff. If this was your copy, by the way, thank you very much for taking such bloody good care of it. It is brilliant. It's a game I had originally when I first had a PlayStation 1. So I'm chuffed to get it back again. And also, given the fact this game's come out of the PlayStation Classic, which means everybody's sort of playing it again on there, to actually own the original is something else. So, top marks if this was yours. Thank you very much indeed. That is going to take pride and place in my PlayStation 1 collection, which probably now goes about 110 games, something like that. It's a very small collection, but that I think is undoubtedly going to be the centrepiece of it. Right, so that's the really old stuff. Let's now move on to Xbox PlayStation 2 stuff. First up on the Xbox original is the Matrix Path of Neo, which I've got both Matrix games now for the Xbox. Not bad, Nick, that one. I think that was 75p. They're not meant to be any good either, these Matrix games, to be fair. I never particularly like the films either. My missus loves the film. She's an absolute big fan of the Matrix. She actually went, "Oh, Matrix." Huh. So, yeah, 75p. Now, also picked up Delta Force Black Hawk Down, which is an amazing game, because when you actually open it up inside, not only is the manual missing, but it actually becomes Conflict Desert Storm. Not only Conflict Desert Storm, but the classics version. So well done CEX once again for not checking your stuff when you're getting it in. And this is the first example this week for Shop Assistant not actually knowing what they're doing. I mean, there's no excuse for this, is there? It's a wrong bloody game. So I have an Xbox box spare now for 50p, which is great. Oh, I suppose 50p. These boxes are quite hard to come by, so I'm quite happy with the spare box, because undoubtedly at some point I'm going to get a NAF box and I'll swap it out for this one. But even so, but of course it's 50p. I'm not going to go back there and sort of say, look, you know, no, it's not worth it. So a free an Xbox box for 50 pence, great. That really is annoying, especially when they don't tell you these things, and you put your trust in the people who work there, and I know it's only a crappy 50p game at the end of the day. I've got it on PlayStation 2. I've never played it, but it just annoys me. It really does. Have some care and attention to what you're doing. Check what's inside, because you know that's really important. Right, fodder. Pardon? Yes, fodder. As you know, I picked up some SingStar stuff last week. So another one for the SingStar collection is SingStar Poppets, which, again, the same branch of CX took ages to find. There were 2 copies of this on the shelf, and they couldn't find any of the discs. Luckily, they did after on a second search and found it. So they did take 50p off me for the right game. It's in good nick. Like the white boxes, always like those slightly different ones. I can't say there's an awful lot in here that sort of jumps out to me and appeals to me in terms of singing, because there's not a lot of great songs on here, to be honest with you. Baby One More Time, Put Your Records On. I'm struggling now. Jenny from the Block. I can see myself doing that one now. I Don't Feel Like Dancing by the Scissor Sisters. Travis Sing, which is probably the only song that I can probably even see me doing. So I don't know. It's a one for the collection. Fill some space on there. I saw this on somebody else's channel. I can't remember. I think it was Pete Fighter 2. Pete, if you are watching, big hello to you. Thank you very much for the shout out in the last video. I will put a link to your channel in my description down below. Really great guy up in Sheffield. Does some great, what he calls plogging, which basically sort of stuff he's doing, not just video games related stuff, but things that are going on in his life. Really good watch. He gets quite a lot of good games as well, old stuff and new. Big pickups video just uploaded as well. I think I saw him pick this up. If I did, great. If I didn't, I got you confused with somebody else. But I think you picked this up. I think you did, actually. And this is Masters of the Universe. He-Man, Defender of Grayskull. Masters of the Universe interactive. Interactive in the fact that you can play the game, I suppose. This was was it £1? No, it was dirt cheap. I think it was £1. I don't know. And I saw it. I thought, oh, I must pick that up. It looks, you know, nice on the inside, nice design there. It's not meant to be particularly great. It's not licensed, from what I understand. It's made by Midas, who have got a pretty rubbishy reputation in terms of producing games. But you look at the back, and it's got Skeletor in there, and He-Man, and Beastmaster, and Battle Cat, and the Power of Grayskull, and all that stuff that we all grew up with back in the 80s. It'll be interesting to give it a go, but yes, generally speaking, it's not a particularly good game from what I've seen. But you don't know until you play it, do you? One man's rubbish is another man's game, I suppose. Speaking of rubbish, Little Britain, the video game, I had to pick this up because I haven't got it. And I was just basically going through games that were 50p, which I haven't got. Again, not a great game from any stretch of the imagination from what I've seen or heard or anything to do. It's made by Blast, who have also got a reputation for taking licenses, and I think the Thunderbirds, Captain Scarlet, with 2 of the games in the PlayStation 2, which were terrible. That's another one. It's in the collection for 50p. Brothers in Arms, Earned in Blood, which I've got on the 360 and the Wii, but I ain't got on the PlayStation 2. I was quite surprised at that. Again, this was 50 pence. complete on the inside. I played this when they first came out. I was quite into the old first-person shooters back in the early 2000s. I think I got very much into the Medal of Honor, Allied Assault, what was it, European Assault, Rising Sun era. A lot of those games I played a heck of a lot of out of the day. This was on actually playing the PC. It was all right. I don't think it was particularly outstanding, but it was an okay game. But yeah, I was surprised I hadn't got that one on PlayStation 2. That's why it's very useful to have a list of games that you own that you can quickly check on, so you don't pick up doubles, which we'll come to a bit later. And then finally, Ben 10 Protector of Earth. I've got about 5 Ben 10 games on the Wii. I'm not sure why. Oh, I know why, because they're 50p. And again, this was very interesting. It's actually got... I'm not going to show you it because obviously it's got some personal information on it. But this was purchased via Play Trade. I can't tell you when. Well, yeah, 13th of May 2010. That's still in there. No sort of card details or anything on there, just someone's name and address. So I like finding things like that in there for the reason, the fact that, I don't know, it's just strange. But yeah, that was 50p probably, I think, something like that anyway. Now, also, I had a really good freebie this week. Freebie, yes, someone actually sent me something for free, which is fantastic. And again, I'll put a link in the channel. He's got over 1,000 subscribers, so I think he's pretty well known. Tootie UK, who put on his last video, he picked up a few bits and pieces in charity shop, and he sort of showed this copy off of the game he picked up, and I sort of put a comment on there to sort of say, wow, that's a really nice looking condition of that game, because the ones I see around here tend to be absolutely sort of shot to pieces. And he contacted me to sort of say, well, if you want it, he said, I'll send it to you completely free of charge, which I am going to find some way of getting something back to you. You know, it's very nice for you to send me this free, but I don't like to sort of, you know, become a moocher or something like that. You don't want to sort of get a reputation of people sending you things just for this, you know, for free because you asked for them. And I didn't ask for it. He offered to send it to me. So I was really appreciative of that, and I'm actually chuffed because there's a lot of stuff going on about this particular franchise at the moment. And I've also, surprisingly, I do actually own this game on the Wii and the GameCube. I was quite surprised. I'd completely forgotten I got the GameCube one. It is Steelbook limited edition Resident Evil 4 on the PlayStation 2. Now, when I say poor condition, the ones I keep seeing around by me look as if Aquaman's owned them previously, as he kept in 6 foot of water. This is a really, really nice, clean copy of it. And also, surprisingly, on the inside, that's the disc and the box there, the manuals. I've actually got 2. I'm not sure whether Tootie realised this at the time, but actually, he may have mentioned it, I can't remember. There's actually 2 players' guides on the inside. So once again, Tootie UK, hats off to you, my friend. Thank you very much indeed for this gift. It really is appreciated. It's going to go pride of place on the shelf. I've only actually got one other steel book for the PlayStation 2, which is 24 the game. But I'm really looking forward to having a go on this and scaring the living daylights out of myself. Thank you very much indeed, sir. Really appreciate it. I'll put the link, as I said, in the channel at the bottom. Do pop along there. He does all sorts of bits and pieces. Lots of really, really good games in his collection, which you'll see behind him. Very envious of that collection, I'm going to be honest with you. I should never own a collection as detailed and as nice as that. But thank you very much indeed again if you are watching. I do appreciate it. I'm just going to move those off there because they're all going to fall over if I'm not careful. If you hear a crash in the background, that's all the games falling over. Don't worry. And then on to last generation stuff, I suppose. I say current generation because that's the generation I pick up. I'm still living in the past. It's still 2005. Possibly a bit earlier than that, I don't know. I had more hair up there as opposed to here. And I was a lot less fat. Right. So I've actually got quite a lot of PlayStation 3 stuff this week. Now, it's a good time at the moment to be picking up your PS3 and Xbox 360 stuff. A lot of that stuff has come down in value. Not sure why. I think it's related to, I know we mentioned before, Gamer got this sale on last generation stuff at the moment. But I think there's a real sort of run on this now, and prices really are coming down quite a bit. So it's a good time to pick these things up, if you can pick them up. I won't pay any more than £1 for them. And so I've actually did something very strange. I sort of stood there with my phone in where I got most of these things from cash converters, going through my PlayStation 3. You know, I haven't got many games, I've got less than 100, but going through those, looking on the shelves, price. Oh, I haven't got that one. Check that one out. And so I just sort of walked out with a handful of stuff in 3 different shops. Doesn't quite make sense. So I got a couple of charity shop ones. Oh dear. Which SingStar Volume 1. Yes, I know the SingStar revolution continues. I couldn't get this game for love or money last week when I bought the microphones. It's a bit easy to see that into there. Yes, so got that, and there are some decent songs on here. Actually, I can see myself singing Coffee and TV, Feel Good Inc., I Try, Pass the Duchy, that'll be an interesting one, Outcasts, Hey Ya, Moving On Up, Primal Scream, Losing My Religion, REM, I Don't Feel Like Dancing Again, possibly, Stone Roses, She Bangs the Drum, Zootan's Valerie, and Weezer's Buddy Holly. Yes, so that'll be quite interesting. That was £1, and on the shelf next to it was SingStar Volume 2, so I thought, well, while in Paris, or wherever I was at the weekend, it wasn't Paris, I say when in Rome, don't they? When in Rome. So on this one, quick flash to the back, Dude Looks Like a Lady, Country House, Freedom 90, You Sexy Thing, Celebration, Suede Head by Morrissey. That's an interesting choice. I bought that on 7-inch when it came out. I wasn't a big Morrissey fan at the time, but I bought that when it came out. That's a weird one. The Paul McCartney and the Frog Chorus, We All Stand Together. Ah, dear me. Bolt, 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 aye, aye, indeed. Common People, Summer in the City, Pretty Fly for a White Guy, I'm going to be 500 Miles, David, I'm looking at you. David, I play retro games badly. California Dreaming, Sex Bomb, which I think possibly could be one I could do. I know Tom Jones ain't nothing to be worried about. So that was £1 as well. More SingStar stuff to go through. There may be a video at some point. Then I got these from Cash Converters, which is Borderlands the pre-sequel. And I've never played a Borderlands game, but it was £1. So I'm out now. I'm new to the world of Borderlands. And while in Rome, Borderlands 2. I actually have Borderlands 1 for the 360, so I've actually got those games there. My other half's niece is quite into Borderlands. She sort of does cosplay and stuff like that for it. So I don't know. I've heard of it. I've never played it, so I don't know if it's going to be any good or not. We'll see. Also managed to complete the Uncharted trilogy for the PS3. I've got 1 and 3. This one is number 2, which we had originally before we traded it in for something. I think we might have traded it in for like Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, or gone towards that. I can't quite remember. Again, that, like the other 2 there, were £1 each. And then Metal Gear Solid was one of the finds of the week. This one, I think, probably is going to be up there for a different reason. And this is Minecraft PlayStation 3 edition. Yes, I have finally bought a Minecraft game. Now, why did I buy this, may you ask? Well, this was in Cash Converters for the grand sum of 99p. Yes, I can't quite believe that either. Now, why it was that cheap, I don't know. I did check the disc while I was there, and it was a bit rough. Now, PlayStation 3 games come on Blu-ray, so you're not going to be able to see this probably. No, you're not, are you? You can see that there's a bit of stuff on it. I'll give it a clean over. I haven't tried it yet, and there's no visible. There's a couple of sort of light scratches, but they're not deep. This, so it hopefully will work, because Cash Converter's selling at the moment for £12. There was 2 copies on the shelf. That was 99p, and the other one was £12.96. Now when I opened that one up, the disc had gone missing. But I know CEX sell this for 15. So if it is and does work, then 99p is a hell of a bargain. Not sure if it's my sort of game, I've got to be honest with you. But you've got to have a go, haven't you? Everyone else has played it. I'm probably the only person in the world who hasn't actually played it. No, 2 people, because my other half hasn't, so that's 2 of us anyway. So that was the PS3 stuff this week. Really, really nice section there. And the final bits and pieces, some Xbox 360 stuff. I'll put that one till last. Last charity shop pickup was Mirror's Edge, which I've already got on PlayStation 3, which I absolutely love. I love the design of the game. I thought it looked absolutely fantastic when it first came out. No, a lot of people don't quite like it. I think it's a bit too easy, and probably was a bit overhyped. That was 50p, which, again, as everybody says, you can't go wrong for 50p. Couple of games to basically scare the pants off myself, which is Escape Dead Island, which I think also was 50p from Cash Converters. Pick up there. I've got Dead Island, actually. I've got the Game of the Year edition. And also Dead Rising. I've got Dead Rising chopped till you drop on the Wii. So I'm looking forward to giving this one a go. So there we go. Again, I think that was £1. And then finally, a real double whammy on this one. I say this one, not saying the best till last. This, my friends, is a bit of an education. And this is Assassin's Creed 3 on the 360. Not too unremarkable by any stretch of the imagination. It's only when I got out that I found out 2 things. One is I hadn't updated my phone and hadn't realised that I've actually got Assassin's Creed 2, 3 and Brotherhood for the 360 already. So technically this was a waste of £1. Which is a bit disappointing. I don't like wasting pounds. Tight sod that I am. But on closer inspection, when I got home, and again I'm not sure how this is going to show up on here. Probably you're not going to be able to see it. But, no, you're not going to be able to see it. Okay, take my word for it, folks. I think we trust each other enough by now to know that there's a... But the actual bloody disc is cracked on the inside. Now again, this is an example of people not checking stuff when it's been brought in for trade. And it's not just such a crack, I can actually flex it and the crack opens. I mean, if I had fingernails, I could stick my fingernail in it. That was really disappointing. More disappointing the fact that I already got it. So, yeah. Another 360 box for my collection. If I get any doubles to swap out or cruddy looking boxes, I can swap it around with that one. That was really disappointing. I was sort of like, my own fault, but at the same time, you know, if you're going to bring in stuff like that, check it please, because that sort of stuff actually is quite serious. That sort of stuff can actually damage your machine. And it was a few months ago, I was in the same shop and they refused to, they didn't sell me one disc because it was so bad. So I was really disappointed with that. And it sort of put a dampener on the whole day, which, you know, you don't like to sort of do. You know, look at that, I think I could have got another game for that, or I could have got, you know, I don't know, sausage roll or something for it. But, you know, stop measuring games in sausage rolls. We get into the realms of stupidity then, aren't we? So, yeah, I'm just rambling now. Anyway, that's it. Yeah, there we go. So we've had a pretty good week, actually. Again, I think it's about 20 games there, and I think it was about £17 altogether. So, again, under £1 a game. It goes to show, I say it every single week, and it's, I know some people will look at all sort of those, well, I've got that, or I've played that, or, well, that doesn't really interest me. But it goes to show that you can build a collection up by not spending a huge amount of money. You know, gaming can be a relatively inexpensive hobby if you have, you know, set your sights at a certain thing. If you want to go and do a complete N64 collection, boxed and what have you, then good luck to you. You know, and I love seeing things like that because I could never do that. You know, I've got about 8 or 9 box games. I'm quite happy with that. That suits me down to the ground. This is the sort of thing I enjoy doing, and there's a lot of talk about stuff on the high street at the moment, and you know, I always think that if you look hard enough, you can find things out there. Get them while you can, because, you know, if shops that are sort of selling second-hand stuff and charity shops are sort of struggling, you've got to get what you can when you can. Don't walk past it. Don't think twice about it. It's a good deal. Some places do sort of try and rip you off, no doubt about it. But, yeah, if they're there, grab them, because at one point they won't be, and then all of a sudden they'll be gone. And then things like this will be a thing of the past. Possibly. I don't know. Yeah, so that's it. So there we go. Another pickups video done. Oh, it's been a busy old week, hasn't it? Hopefully some of you have checked out the immensely long 3-hour chat with Retro Dude the other night, which was a really, really fun evening. It's a long video which I posted on, I think it was yesterday. yesterday being Monday the 4th. So if you hadn't a chance to check it out, scan through it, have a playthrough. I know some people are going to try and work their way through it all the way through, and you deserve medals for it, believe me. It was a lot of fun to do, and I'm really hoping that people look at it and think, yeah, it's a really good idea. We're hoping to do a few more. We've got a couple of ideas tossed around, so eyes open, keep your ears peeled to the ground, etc. Ears peeled to the ground, something like that. Anyway, yes. I'm not sure there's anything else this week. No, probably not. I think I'm done. Yeah. So thank you very much indeed for watching. If you have enjoyed what you've seen, please do like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications from new videos. Leave me a comment, because I do get back to everybody. If you leave a comment very kindly, I'll come back to you. It might not be the answer you're looking for, but I will sort of come back to you and thank you very much for leaving a message, because I do enjoy going through those. They're quite fun to hear people's feedbacks and do have a bit of banter every now and again. It's also great that so many of us follow each other. I know I follow quite a few people who follow me, and then we all follow somebody else. It's really, really great. It's how YouTube should work, I suppose, really. But then again, I am somebody who is sort of far, far beyond these sort of things. I just don't understand it. It's too much. Yes, it's time for a go for a lie down. Thank you very much indeed for watching. We shall see you again very, very soon. Take care, enjoy your gaming, and come back when we post another video. Thanks very much indeed. Bye for now.